Hello students, this is my continuation of my chapter on neuroanatomy. In my previous video, I explained in detail about the introduction of different brain parts. Okay, please go through that video for better understanding. In this video, I am going to start with cerebrum. Now this cerebrum, as I have explained in my previous video, is a part of forebrain. Okay, that is prosencephalon. So prosencephalon is divided into three parts: telencephalon, that is cerebrum; diencephalon, that is epithalamus, thalamus, hypothalamus, and the olfactory lobes. I explained the olfactory lobes in my previous video. In this video, I will start with cerebrum. Okay. Now, cerebrum is one of the main part of the brain. Very important functional part of the brain. This cerebrum has many bumps which are known as cerebral gyri. In between gyri, there are several grooves which separates them. These grooves are called cerebral sulci. So cerebrum has various bumps which are known as gyri, and there are various grooves which are present in between the bumps or the elevations, which is known as gyri. So if you take this, there are various sulci and gyri. Okay, this is sulci and gyri. So if I take this is the anterior view, that is the dorsal view. The upper view, that is, this is anterior, this is posterior, and this is the dorsal view from above. So you can see various bumps or elevation. These are known as gyri. And in between the bumps, okay, there is presence of grooves, and these are known as sulci. So you can see the entire cerebrum, the brain tissue entirely is covered by, or it is formed by sulci and gyri. Various sulci and gyri are formed. So the bumps are known as the gyri, and in between the bumps or the elevations there are grooves which are present, and these grooves are known as sulci. Okay. Cerebral cortex receives afferent fibers and sent efferent fibers. The areas which received afferent fibers are known as the sensory area, and the area related to control voluntary movement are called motor areas. So, in the cerebrum, this is the functional areas of the brain. In the cerebrum, there is primary sensory area. This is primary motor area. Okay, and there would be association area also. So what happens? The impulses or the signals from below, it reaches the primary sensory area in the cerebrum via the afferent fibers. These impulses will be getting processed in this area. It will reach the association area, it will get processed there, and it will reach the motor area in the brain. In the motor area, there are presence of efferent fibers which will go down, and it will lead to reaction, or there will be movement. So this is a very important area, functional area of the brain. That is the sensory area which receives senses, and motor area where there are reactions occurring. Okay, so this is very important. So I'll talk in detail when I'll talk about the functional areas of the brain. This is just an introduction I am giving you all. Okay, the right motor area controls the left side of the body and vice versa. Okay, so if these are two cerebral hemispheres, which is separated by a longitudinal fissure. Okay, so these are the fissures. The sulci can also be called as fissure. Okay, now this longitudinal fissure separates the cerebrum into two hemispheres or two halves, the right and the left. Okay, so right side motor area controls the left side of the body, and left side motor area controls the right side of the body, that is opposite. Okay, the two hemisphere receives information from the opposite side of the body. Right sensory control area receives information from the opposite side of the limb. So I told you if there is right side sensory area, it receives information from the left side of the body, from left lower limb. So from left lower limb, it receives information, the signals goes to the right side sensory area. Okay, so it is opposite side. There are different connections which are present. There are functional areas which are present in the cerebrum. Vision, primary visual cortex, auditory, primary auditory cortex, and touch, primary somatosensory cortex. Now, you can see here there is primary visual area. This is the occipital area or occipital lobe. The primary visual area is for vision. There is auditory area which is present in the temporal lobe. You can see here, this is the auditory area. So this is present in the temporal lobe. Okay, and this is the visual area. This is seen in the occipital lobe. And there is presence of somatosensory area which is not seen right now in this picture. I'll teach you in detail later on. But there are somatosensory areas which is responding to touch. So here it is primary sensory area. So these are the somatosensory area which responds to touch, that is senses. Okay. When one receives the information, it is processed and then reaction occurs. Yes. So that I have explained you, there is processing occurring in the brain and then there is reaction. When you see, that is the visual area is getting impulse, or hear, that is the auditory area is getting impulse. We process in our mind and then we react. So that processing occurs in our mind and then we react. So there is receiving and then there is reaction. The different connections that process what we hear and see is known as association area. After we process the signals, we can send motor functions to react to the situation. So in brain, there is primary sensory area which sends signals to brain association area. So this primary sensory area sends signal to the brain. Association area processes the information, and motor area which is going to send information to different parts of the brain so that we can react. So the same thing, this is the primary sensory area. It will receive the information from the lower part of the body, and this information is reached via the afferent fibers. There is association area where the processing of the information occurs. This information goes to the motor area. This motor area, there are efferent fibers which leave this area and there will be reaction. Clear? So this is about the introduction of the cerebrum, the areas of the brain. What functions does it do? Now, we'll go to the surfaces of the brain. Now, there is presence of superolateral surface. Okay? There is presence of superolateral surface, which is a surface, one of the surface of the cerebrum. It contains most gyri and the sulci. So if you see this diagram, okay, this is three surfaces which are present on the cerebrum. The first surface is the superolateral surface. The next surface is the medial surface, and the other is the inferior surface. So there are three surfaces which are present on the cerebrum. The cerebrum has three surfaces: superolateral surface, medial surface, and the inferior surface. This is the complete inferior surface. If you see, this is the superolateral surface which consists of lot of sulci and the gyri. Okay, so this is the superolateral surface of the cerebrum, and it consists of lot of sulci and the gyri. Clear? The next surface is the surface which is the medial surface. Now what is the medial surface? As you all know, the cerebrum is divided into two halves. Okay, so it is divided into two halves. So if I take, this is the right half, and if I turn over, so this becomes the medial surface. this becomes the medial surface. So this is the right half of the cerebrum. This is the right half. If I turn this way, if I turn just half, so this is the medial surface, and if I turn completely, this becomes the inferior surface. So above is the superolateral surface. If I turn, this is the medial surface, and I go down, look down, this is the inferior surface of the cerebral hemisphere. So superolateral surface, medial surface, and the inferior surface. As you all know, the cerebrum is divided into two halves. So this is the half, right half if I take. So this is above is the superolateral surface. So this is the superolateral surface. This consists of lot of sulci and the gyri. If I see this way, if I take, this is the fissure. Okay, this is the fissure. So if I take the right half and if I turn, just half I turn, this becomes the medial surface, and completely I turn, then becomes the inferior surface. Okay. So the medial surface would be present medially. The medial surface is present medially. So we'll talk in detail what are the contents of the medial surface. So this is the corpus callosum. Okay, so I'll talk in detail about the medial surface, and the next surface is the inferior surface. Okay, so this is the inferior surface. Inferior surface we have talked in detail about the olfactory lobes in my previous video. Okay, so this becomes the inferior surface. Clear? It is present inferiorly. So these are the three surfaces: superolateral surface of the cerebrum, then the medial surface, and the inferior surface. Okay, one more diagram I'll show you. You can see here, this is the superolateral surface. See, this is the superolateral surface of the cerebrum. This is the inferior surface. Now inferior surface has two parts. Anteriorly it has orbital surface, and posteriorly is the tentorial surface, and this is the medial surface. Okay, so these are the surfaces of the cerebrum. Okay, it has lot of sulci and gyri. This is the medial surface. This is the inferior surface, which is further divided into anterior and posterior surface. Anterior surface is orbital and posterior is tentorial. Okay, so these are the surfaces. There is one longitudinal fissure which is present separating the two hemispheres. So that is known as longitudinal fissure or longitudinalis. So this is the longitudinal fissure. This you can see here. This is the deep longitudinal fissure which is cutting the cerebrum into two halves. The right cerebral hemispheres and the left cerebral hemisphere. Okay. Between the cerebrum and the cerebellum. Okay. So between the cerebrum and the cerebellum, near the inferior surface is presence of the transversalis fissure. Okay, so there is presence of transversalis fissure between the cerebrum and the cerebellum. Now you can see here, this is the longitudinal fissure. You can see this is the longitudinal fissure which is separating the cerebrum into two halves, the right cerebral hemisphere and the left cerebral hemisphere. It is dividing the cerebrum into two hemispheres, right and left. So this is the longitudinal fissure, deep. The next is the transverse fissure. You can see, so this is the transverse fissure which is dividing the cerebrum from the cerebellum. Okay, so this is the transverse fissure which is separating the cerebrum from the cerebellum. Clear? Okay, so this is the longitudinal fissure dividing the cerebrum into two cerebral hemispheres, right and left, and this is the transverse fissure, okay, which separates the cerebrum from the cerebellum. This is transverse and this is longitudinal. Okay. Now we'll talk little bit about the superolateral surface of the cerebrum. It consists of three major sulcus. Okay, so there are three major sulci: the central sulcus, the lateral sulcus, and the parieto-occipital sulcus. So this is the superolateral surface of the cerebrum, and it is divided into three important sulci. So there is presence of three sulcus. This is the central sulcus. This is the one would be the parieto-occipital sulcus here. Okay, and there would be the lateral sulcus. Okay, so there are three sulci which is present. Okay, so here also if you see, this is the central sulcus. This is a superolateral surface. Okay, this is the central sulcus, this is the lateral sulcus, and here would be the parieto-occipital sulcus here. So this is the transverse fissure which is separating the cerebrum from the cerebellum. So here would be the parieto-occipital sulcus. So the three sulcus which are present, shown in this diagram also. See, this is the central sulcus. These are the sulci which are present on the superolateral surface of the cerebrum. So this is the central sulcus. This is the lateral sulcus. See, this is the lateral sulcus. This is the central sulcus and the parieto-occipital sulcus. Okay. So these are the three major sulci which are present on the superolateral surface of the cerebrum. Okay. So there are four lobes which are present corresponding to the brain skull. So there are four lobes which are present in the brain, as you all know. This is the frontal lobe, this is the temporal lobe, this is the occipital lobe, and this is the frontal lobe, this is the parietal lobe, this is the occipital lobe, and this is the temporal lobe. The blue is the frontal lobe, the lightish green, yellowish is parietal lobe, the reddish is the occipital, and the green one is the temporal lobes. Okay. So there are four lobes which are present: the frontal, parietal, temporal, and occipital, corresponding to bones of the skull. Now if we take the central sulcus, divides the frontal from the parietal. So if we take this is the central sulcus, as I have shown in my previous diagram. This is the lateral sulcus, and this is the parieto-occipital sulcus. Okay. Now the central sulcus, it divides the frontal from the parietal. You can see easily. It is between the frontal lobe and the parietal lobe. This is the central sulcus. Okay. We'll talk about the parieto-occipital sulcus. The parieto-occipital sulcus, it will divide the parietal lobe from the occipital lobe. So as the name suggests, the parieto-occipital sulcus, it will divide the parietal lobe from the occipital lobe. Okay. And one is the lateral sulcus, that will divide the temporal lobe from the parietal and the frontal. Clear? So superolateral surface of the cerebrum has three sulci. The central sulcus, okay, that is the central sulcus. Okay. Then you have the central sulcus. Yes. This is the lateral sulcus and the parieto-occipital sulcus. Okay. This central sulcus divides the frontal lobe from the parietal lobe. You can see here. The lateral sulcus will divide the frontal and the parietal from the temporal lobe, and the parieto-occipital sulcus will divide the parietal lobe and the occipital lobe. Clear? So this is the sulci and the lobes. Another lobe hidden inside the lateral sulcus is known as insula. So there is one more lobe just hidden near the lateral sulcus, which is not seen in this diagram, is known as insula. Okay. So this was about little bit introduction of the cerebrum. Okay. In my next video, I will talk about the various surfaces, the borders of the cerebrum. Thank you, students.